This is the Whole Care Network. Helping you tell your story one podcast at a time. Content presented in the following podcast is for information purposes only. Views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the host and guest and may not represent the views and opinions of the Whole Care Network. Always consult with your physician for any medical advice, and always consult with your attorney for any legal advice. And thank you for listening to the Whole Care Network.
The following podcast sometimes offers unusual solutions to usual problems. These solutions are meant for qualified agencies or individuals to put into action. And I'd be willing to bet that's not you. Listen, folks, we don't take ourselves too seriously. Neither should you. So, let's go have a laugh. This is Unscrew It Up, where we offer differently twisted solutions to life's little problems. I'm Josh.
I'm Amanda.
Amanda, we are on week number 3 of this little project. I'm very excited. And between week number 2 and week number 3 of this little project, we went on a little trip.
We did. I'm starting to travel more for work, and you guys come when you can. And so we just did a little trip about 150 miles south of here. You guys got to play, and I got to work.
Yeah, and I don't know if I've said this before, but I really love this whole idea of you being my sugar mama.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Why didn't we figure this out sooner? Unscrew up marriage, you're the sugar mama.
Okay.
And I'm your boy toy.
I need to rethink that job description then.
So this week we're going to unscrew up car travel, and especially long-distance car travel. That's what I was thinking when I was coming up with these solutions. We have done a lot of car travel since we've been married.
We have. When we first got married, the now 16-year-old was dancing and traveling around. She was part of a dance company.
Can we start over?
Yes,
She was not a stripper.
I know. That sounded so bad. She's part of a dance company. And so we traveled around the state a lot, especially in the spring for different performances. And then COVID happened. We didn't travel for a while.
And I missed it. I missed it when we weren't doing it. So let's jump right into the unscrewing up of car travel.
I have opinions.
But before we give our opinions, we do want to give equal time. There's another podcast that graciously allowed us to use one of their episodes to add a little flavor to this discussion, a little differing opinion. And so without further ado, let's roll that, listen to them, and then do our thing.
Welcome to Automobile Banter with Gary Carr, or for my British friends, Autobants. I'm Gary Carr, and I have some tips for better driving.
Be the best driver you can be.
If you're driving long distance, bring along a bucket to use as a toilet. That way you won't have to stop for bathroom breaks.
Winning.
To save time, always drive in reverse. You can see where you've been, and you don't have to worry about what's ahead.
Gary wins driving.
Want to save money on gas? Just take off all the doors and windows from your car. You'll have much less wind resistance, and you'll save on gas.
Bam.
If you get lost, just start honking your horn until someone comes to help you. It's a foolproof way to get directions.
Winning.
To keep the kids entertained, let them take turns driving the car. They'll love the responsibility, and you'll get a much-needed break.
Win parenting and driving.
Need a snack while you're driving? Just use your steering wheel as a table. It's the perfect size for a pizza.
Car pizza is the best.
To save time and gas, always take the shortest route, even if it means driving through someone's backyard.
They're probably not using it.
Don't bother with a GPS. Just follow your instincts and you'll get there eventually.
What are you afraid of?
Falling asleep while driving? Put a few slices of raw onion under your seats. The scent will keep you awake and alert. And hey, Everyone loves onion.
especially on my car pizza.
If you're ever feeling lonely, just pick up a hitchhiker. They'll keep you company and you'll get to hear some interesting stories.
Maybe don't do this.
Need to cool down on a hot day? Just drive through a car wash with the windows down. It's like a free shower.
Except that you pay for the car wash.
Another gas-saving tip. Try coasting downhill with the engine turned off. You'll feel like you're flying.
I believe I can fly.
If your car breaks down, just abandon it and hitchhike the rest of the way. That's what hitchhiking is for.
Don't do this one either.
To save money on car repairs, try fixing your car with duct tape and super glue. It's like having your own personal mechanic.
All my clothes are made of duct tape and super glue.
To avoid getting lost, just follow the first car that passes you. Surely they know where they're going.
Don't follow too close. That's kind of creepy.
To make your car more fuel efficient, remove the back seat and any unnecessary items. It's like having a brand new car.
You can pretend it's the Batmobile.
This has been Autobans with Gary Carr. I'm Gary Carr.
So am I.
Keep driving.
Please note that Gary Carr doesn't know what he's talking about, whether talking about cars or people or life. Please don't follow any of his advice. Also, don't follow him on the street in a car, because not only does he not ever know where he's going, he does not own a GPS. Vroom vroom.
That was a big mistake. Never mind that. Let's do our thing. And now the Wilsons unscrew up car travel. So let's look at some general leisure travel statistics.
Leisure travel?
Leisure travel,
Okay.
yeah, that's what we do. I mean,
No, that's what you did.
when I
did
yeah,
not
that's right.
leisure travel.
When planning a trip, Americans' most important considerations are affordability, safety, and flexibility.
Is that only in America? Like no other countries care about affordability, flexibility, and safety?
This is an American website.
Okay,
This
got it.
podcast is based in America.
I'm aware. I'm just thinking about our international audience.
For nearly 40% of travelers, who they are with and what they do together is more important than where they go and what they see.
I mean,
I love that.
I can attest to that because we both have talked about how we previously were married before this. We started being married at this time.
This is the second time you've used the phrase previously been married before.
I'm a
You
writer
write for a
by
living.
profession. And I did a lot of like traveling to really cool places with people that I didn't enjoy being with. And I am telling you, it does not matter if you're at the Kilauea caldera in Hawaii or you're on a cruise in the Mexican Riviera. If you are not happy with the people you are with, you are not happy. So I much more prefer just traveling with you to, like St. Pete and hanging out there.
64% of tourists are interested in traveling during off-peak times.
Yes, because it's cheaper.
Right, but if over half of them,
Then
then
it's
it's
not
no
cheaper.
longer off-peak.
They know our secrets.
City-centric trips are gaining ground, with searches going up for major cities such as Las Vegas, Melbourne, Paris, and Sydney.
That's the thing that's now just gaining traction? Like, I thought
It's
that
just
was
more.
a thing that people did.
It's just more.
Okay.
I do think that Americans travel more within the country than they do internationally.
Well, because our country's so flippin' big.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
like covering all of the European countries.
Well, it's like our friends in the UK. They talk about how they're going to Spain, they're going to Cyprus. To me, that's just crazy. But to them, they can get on a train or whatever and be there within just a handful of hours, and we can't.
That's like it takes us 5 hours just to get to Atlanta. That's just Georgia, friends.
3/4 of consumers are likely to pick a destination they've never visited.
Oh.
And that's not us, though, because we pretty much Orlando, Tampa, St. Pete, Jacksonville, St. Augustine. We got to break out of that.
Yeah. That's because all of those are within 2 hours. And as we will talk about this thing, that's about as far as I can do in a car with children.
Nearly 52% of travelers that have a trip planned will likely use a mode of transport they've never used before.
Oh, interesting.
I've never been on a train.
You've been on a subway train.
Yeah, but I've never been on a proper train.
haven't
like
either.
City of New Orleans, Willie Nelson singing about and all this. About 22% look for once-in-a-lifetime experiences on their next trip.
I kind of want to go on a train. Once in a lifetime experiences. You've never been on a train. I'm making connections. Don't make faces at me. The people were following me.
They weren't.
A wine train in Napa would be really cool.
Is there such thing as a wine
Yeah.
train?
Yeah.
Who's driving? I guess it's on a track. Doesn't matter. All right. And our last statistic, more consumers prefer to take frequent shorter trips, 41%, than those who want to take fewer longer trips, 28%. Or a mixture of both, 31%.
Which would you prefer? Say that money and time.
What's a short trip to you? Like a weekend?
Like a weekend, a long weekend. So 3 days, 4 days.
Like if we can go travel every weekend out of town, that would be great. I would love that.
Yeah, except that I use the weekend to catch up on cleaning the house, and then the house would just never be clean.
And we just hire someone.
In this imaginary world where we can afford to travel every weekend, we can
exactly.
afford to hire somebody to clean this house. Got it.
Or we live in an RV.
I'm not living in an RV with these children.
If you live in an RV, then every day is a travel day.
That's right.
So we're going to solve car travel problems. We're very familiar with it. We love to travel. Probably one of the most unpleasant parts of the traveling is the getting there.
Yes, correct.
With all the different issues. You're going to bring 4 solutions to 4 problems, and I think I'm going to bring 3 solutions to 3 problems. When we narrow those down to 5, we'll forward them on to a person or an organization, and they will put feet on our ideas and our suggestions.
Okay, so like the National Travel Advisory, who's getting it this week? It seems like that makes sense for them.
So in weeks past, we have referred different problems or different solutions to NASA to fix.
Mm-hmm.
NATO, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
The
FedEx got some stuff from
FedEx
us.
last week. The National Milk Board was in charge of what was that? Personal hygiene.
Mm-hmm.
So this week, we're gonna send off our suggestions on how to fix car travel to the Statler brothers.
The Statler brothers still around? First of all, wow, you're old. Second of all, you need to explain the Statler brothers to people.
It's a country and or Western band.
Wow, I have not thought about the Statler brothers in probably 40 years, which would have made me a child the last time somebody said the Statler brothers. But
So
okay.
there you go. All right, you have more, so
Yes.
you should go first, and then you will go last.
Okay, so my biggest issue with car travel right now currently is traveling with a smaller child. Traveling with children, period, is difficult because especially when you have more than one, everybody wants something different. Trying to find something to eat that makes everybody happy is different.
I'm going to break in. For those of you who do not know, we have 4 children.
Yes.
2 of them are adult. Our 2 sons are adults, and they are off on their own, doing their own thing. And then we have a 16-year-old girl named Muffy
Not really her name.
and a 6-year-old boy named Winthrop.
Not really his name. Okay.
So
So
proceed.
Winthrop does not stop talking. Muffy just wants to sleep through the whole trip. Winthrop does not stop talking to anyone in the car and does not want people to talk to each other. He just wants to be able to talk. So what I need is a smart car like Kit from Knight Rider that will just talk to the 6-year-old. So, you know, he's constantly asking questions and constantly wanting to tell you things. So I need the car that will engage the child. We have cars that drive themselves. We have cars that brake themselves. We have cars that will park themselves. I need a car that will entertain my child. It's like having the AI device that I don't want to say her name because she's in this room. It's like having that in the car, but it's the car actually talking. It will amaze him. He will be astounded. It will talk to him. If I remember Knight Rider correctly, Kit was a little bit sarcastic sometimes, and so it will keep him on his toes. But I need basically the babysitting, child nannying, entertaining version of whatever Kit was.
I cannot have this be so.
Why?
Because you know what's going to happen.
Which is
The car is going to get fed up, pull over to the side of the road, and say, "Get out."
Okay. Well, then how would you, because this has got to be one of your problems is traveling with this child who's very demanding.
We'll continue in this direction then. My number 1 is annoyances from other passengers.
Okay.
You get even a well-functioning family, you get them all in a small space like that for a few hours, and bad things are going to go down. We get the 6-year-old and the 16-year-old in the back seat, and it's versions of that scene from, what is it, Lilo and Stitch?
Yeah, it's not touching me, not touching. Yes.
Right. we need to do something about it. Now, surely you grew up with siblings and you took long trips. Surely the same thing happened to you, correct?
Well, my siblings were a lot older than me, but my nephew was only 6 years younger than me, so we traveled a lot together. But also, we didn't wear seatbelts at the time,
so you could get further away from each other.
And in the back there were no seats.
Didn't they pay you not to talk for one whole trip?
Well, that is a different story.
No, but it happened.
I will tell that story in a second. But also, like, my brother had a camper truck, so we would just lay in the back of the truck with the camper over it so people didn't see it. Or my brother had a hatchback, and I remember just laying in the back of the car on a trip to Jacksonville, so we could get a little bit of distance from each other. But also, yes, but my brother was older. I mean, he was an adult at this time. He was in the Navy, and we were driving from Lakeland, Florida to Charleston, South Carolina, which is about a 6 to 7 hour trip. And we got 5 miles down the road, and he looked at me and he said, "I will pay you $20 not to talk for the rest of this trip."
And back then, $20 was like $100.
I mean, $20 right now is nice to me. And so I said, okay. And I didn't. And I didn't talk. And we stopped at rest stops. And I went into the rest stop and I just talk in the bathroom to myself so that I could just talk out loud. And then I get back in the car.
We wonder where Winthrop gets it from.
I know. But see, the thing is, we can't pay him. He'll be interested in a little bit, and then he'll be like, no, I need to say words. And so I got really upset because I fell asleep, and I woke up, and it was really hot in the van, and I sat up, and I said, can you please turn the air on? And then I just started sobbing because we were about 30 minutes from Charleston, and I had done so well. So my brother gave me the money anyway.
Well, that's good. You should have just cried initially, and he would have paid you to stop crying, and then you could talk. I grew up an only child. I didn't have this problem, which magnifies it for me now.
Yeah.
Like, which makes it all the worse because I grew up being used to car rides being nice, peaceful things. My dad had a Cadillac. We didn't have to wear seatbelts. I would stretch out, and I could stretch out my arms above my head and my feet below my torso.
That's where they usually are.
Anyway, I could stretch out and not touch either ends of the car, and I could just sleep or do whatever. Although the car did have that kind of hump in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't really ever get comfortable. Not my point, not where I'm going. I suggest to solve this problem that we have separate compartments in the vehicle for every person.
Oh, like a pod.
Like those windows that go up and down in a limousine.
Like the privacy windows?
Privacy windows, except you're splitting the car for us, you'd split the car 4 ways.
Yeah.
Separate compartment. It would solve so many problems. The drive would be pleasant. Everyone could have their own music. Winthrop could be talking to his AI companion in his little pod. I wouldn't have to worry if I had to pass gas.
Okay.
Because I'd be sealed off.
Okay. So this is soundproof.
Soundproof, smell-proof.
All right.
Separate compartments for the car.
It's like when you get in the really fancy, not that I've ever traveled this way, but you get in the really fancy first class plane things where they've got the little like sleeping pod.
Yes.
This is what, but you can't sleep if you're driving.
No, I wouldn't want to. I'd listen to my music full blast. I'd play heavy metal, which is a thing the family doesn't know I like because they and the gangster rap. I would listen to all of that. I wouldn't have to worry. I could listen to my podcasts that have the naughty words in it, and it would be okay. It would be great.
Okay, all right.
And every now and again, I'd put the window down between you and I, and I'd say, hello, how are you doing, dear?
And I'd say, roll the window up. It smells bad over there.
Put the window back up.
All right.
Your turn.
My next grievance is how dirty the car is when we get back home.
Yes.
And I always wonder this about myself. I clean the car before we go on the trip because I want to be in a nice car for the trip. But then we get back and it's like everything has exploded. Everything that was put in the car nicely when we started, all of the luggage is askew. There's goldfish and things just smushed into the carpet. And so it's you talked about
snack food. Sorry.
Not actual goldfish, the snack food. So I feel like you talked about this recently, going through a car wash with the windows down.
Yes.
Okay. Kind of that. I need whatever that version is for after a trip. So you can car wash and clean the inside at once. It's like hosing it down. Pressure washing it. I don't know. But I need the full service, just move through the bay. And I don't mean people detailing the thing. Like, I know this is a thing. I know you pay money for this. I don't have time to schedule this appointment. I want to go to the gas station with the car wash drive-through and just put it on a track, and then it goes through blast dryers to dry everything out. Done. Car clean. Done.
Can we keep the children in the car? when you go through. I think that would be pretty important because after a trip, everyone starts to get a little,
Little ripe.
a little ripe there, especially Winthrop. Just blast him right through.
Okay.
My next one is something that everyone has a problem with, and that is toileting.
Okay. Well, they make solutions for this already, like the Go Girl and things.
The what now?
It's called a Go Girl.
I can't imagine that's anything pleasant.
It's like this little cup looking like an athletic cup almost that goes down into the pants with a straw, and then you can into a bottle, and then I personally don't think that I have the dexterity to use this. Wouldn't try it. But
What do you mean by dexterity? So wait a second. Do you put this thing on before the trip? Like it's a piece of kit that you have on. You're like, okay, I'm going on a trip. Need my shoes, my socks, and my pee cup with the straw.
I can't imagine that you shove it down your pants while you're driving.
Right. So what's dexterity have to do with it? It's there.
I still feel like I would make it leak or something. It feels weird.
Have you ever had an accident in a car? As a child or adult?
No, I have thrown up in cars like 3 times, but I've never peed in a car.
I can't think of anything. I would have to throw the car away.
Put it out with the garbage bins?
Especially if I number two'd.
Yes.
There was a point where I almost number two'd in a car, and I've told this story on air before, but not on this podcast.
I don't feel like we should talk about this on this podcast.
Well, let's just say that my car was fine, and I ended up in a pool.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. I'm sorry for those
also,
of you just
rest area toilets are the worst.
They're so gross. So gross.
There needs to be an in-vehicle solution to going to the bathroom.
Well,
now,
RVs have this.
Right, but I'm talking about this is car travel. I'm not getting an RV just so I can have a toilet.
Okay.
It's not a thing. It's a little expensive. But surely we're sitting on these seats.
You want a chemical toilet as your seat?
We should just have the toilets built in. And I'm shocked. I am genuinely shocked that this has not been invented yet.
What are you going to do with your pants?
Huh?
What are you going to do with your pants? You're driving.
Yeah, but I'm going to be in my pod.
Okay.
Right? I'm going to be in my pod. So part of going on a car trip, I guess, is taking down your drawers. And
How are you driving down the interstate? It's 80 miles an hour. Pulling your pants down? I don't think that seems safe.
No, you're not. You
just drive naked the whole time?
Think about it like you're putting the car on like a pair of pants, because instead of a seatbelt, you have like suspenders, right? that attach.
Ridiculous thing you've ever said.
But the suspenders are your seatbelt. They just look like suspenders, and you're strapping yourself into this car toilet seat, and boom, you go. And it's fine because you're not going to have to stop. Because you don't have to stop anymore.
What if you get pulled over by an officer of the law and then you're just like all hanging out willy-nilly, literally, in the seat?
Well, the officer pulls you over. Well, he's going to be buckled into his toilet seat as well. So you both have time to prepare yourselves to do the transaction.
All right. I don't think I'm voting for this one, but anyway, fine.
Car toilet seats, cannot believe it doesn't already exist.
It probably exists for children, like little potty seats or something for the car.
What's your next one?
I don't like traveling on interstates with big trucks. I'm all done with it.
Same.
I'm all done with it. And we have a thing here in Florida called the Turnpike, and their whole slogan behind this, it runs north-south. Florida's a very long state. Their whole thing is they call themselves the less stress way. Not true anymore. Used to be true, but now all the trucks heard about it, and they're all on it. I hate it. So there needs to be some sort of solution, give them a separate lane, but I don't know that they'll stay in it. Like we need you've seen those, what are they called? Like HV something lanes. They're the commuter lanes. So you have to have a certain number of people in the car to be able to use this lane. We need those everywhere. Or we need some sort of underground tunnel system for these trucks or for us, but that's just public transport. Everything gets moved by rail. I don't know, but I'm all done being with the trucks. So I guess what I'm putting forth to the Statler brothers is that I need a truck lane. So we need to put a lot of money into the infrastructure of the United States highway system, build everybody their own truck lane, and they have to stay in it. Like there's a wall, give them a pod. I don't know. They get a highway pod. I don't know. Were these on your list? Because I know that this is an grievance to you.
Well, I think that what needs to happen is that every truck needs to have an extra level.
Say more words.
Well, so you know how trucks are tall, and we'd have to adjust our infrastructure for this, but you've got the part of the truck that has the freight in it, the tractor trailer, but then you have a level underneath, and this is easily done, where I want to go on a trip, I find a truck that's going where I want to go, I pull my car right in, park, someone parks behind me, someone parks behind me. There, we've just redeemed back the space that truck is taking on the highway because there's 3 cars traveling in that same space. And so it's like a car carrier.
I was going to say, these exist. They're called car carriers.
Right, but also you're moving freight. See, car carriers exist and they're just moving cars and there ain't no one in it. But this, the magic, the genius in this is that we are combining forces. We're hauling freight, which needs to be hauled, and we're hauling our asses to, Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, at the same time.
I actually think this is a brilliant idea.
Of course
it
is.
Shocked by you.
Why are you shocked? Never be shocked.
Did you not
Wilson Technologies.
Did you not listen?
Yesterday's solutions for tomorrow's problems, or something like that.
Did you not listen to the poop toilet? Not poop toilet, the car toilet thing. This is why I'm shocked, because this one actually makes sense.
My solution to your problem is we're combining freight trucks and car carriers.
All right, thank you. Your solution is better than I think they all need their own lane. Although, I have nothing against truckers. I would not want that job. It is a hard job. It's just also very hard to exist as little cars on the road with them.
Yes. All right. My next one, the drive-through.
Okay. Well, no, you're already naked. You can't go through drive-thrus.
Well, you of course you can. What are you talking about?
They will see your BBs.
Yeah, but you got to cover.
Okay. A blankie?
Yeah, something. You got to have a cover. But drive-thrus are terribly inconvenient. You drive up, you have to reach over. I don't know how many times you've spilled a drink collecting it from the person, from the window. It's a dicey exchange. I've spilled the drink before.
Friend, I am so short and my arms are not very long. No, I don't have T-Rex arms, but I have 5'2" arms. I'm 5'2". My arms are not 5'2", but they're appropriate. Like they match my size. Whatever half of 5'2" is all my arm span is to reach to the drive-through people. So I have to get really close to the window, and then I run the risk of scraping the car on the side of it, and so I have to open the door.
Inefficient. We already kind of have a solution for this. When planes have to refuel, they've got this boom arm system where another plane gets in front of them. They lower this boom arm. It's trailing behind, and then there is like a receptacle that it hooks onto, and then
in the air.
Yeah, did you not know about this?
I did not.
This is not new.
Mid-air refueling is a thing?
Absolutely. Are you kidding me?
I didn't know.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
We're able to do that with planes in the air, not touching the ground. Surely we can figure out a similar system where you drive up to the drive-thru. Overhead, there is a boom arm that can lower down into a socket in your car and deliver to you the food that you order. Now, we can do everything by phone, right? I can pay by phone. I can order by phone. So all you do is you drive up. The boom arm lowers into the receptacle. Your food comes down. Like probably you'd want it to come down to the center console where there's a receptacle. There's a tray ready for it. And then you distribute your food to the different compartments of your car. Much better, much easier.
Well, let's take this a step further, because sometimes getting off the interstate to go through the drive-thru and getting back on the interstate it adds a lot of extra time depending on the traffic. So my suggestion is that you employ this technology with something similar to the way stations that the trucks have to pull off, and then they just drive slowly through it, but they can keep going. It's like that in intervals there are the food delivery stations, and you've got choices, and then you just slowly drive through and the boom arm lowers it.
Perfect. I love that. Why do we even need to have the rest stops? Let's just have it happen along the highway. Maybe the boom arm's on a track and it speeds up to whatever speed you're going and then hooks up to you, and then you get it. Now that I'm thinking about this, we need to do this with every sort of transaction that you would need in a vehicle so that once you get in your car, you don't have to get out of your car until you get to your destination. That should be our goal. So not only should we have a receptacle chute for food, but for fuel.
Yes, good. We can refuel midair, just like the planes.
And then when I'm done in my car toilet, we need to be able to vent that in somewhere safe, get it out of the car the same way. So we don't have to worry about it and it just goes.
And then when we get home, we take it through the car wash with the windows down and everything gets cleaned.
So I think that there should be kind of an all-purpose hole in your car that deals with all of this stuff so you can stay safely in your car.
No, I'm not an all-purpose hole. We're not putting food and your toilet waste in the same hole. That's not a thing we're doing.
Okay, so let's say that we've got like this port and there's like a couple of different, but basically it's like the same spot in your car. It's like a car cloaca. So you've got the food, the gas, all the things handled through the car. What's wrong with you?
You and this visual, my God. Nope.
New from Wilson Technologies, the car cloaca.
Nope.
We hope you enjoy your whole trip.
Nope. What's wrong with you? You've entertained yourself.
So that's my solution then. Perfect. Love it. That's my last one, the car cloaca.
Oh, my God. Okay. My last one doesn't have anything to do with the car. You've solved all these problems. It has to do with I get really bored. It does not matter if I've got an audiobook or a podcast or music or people to talk to. Eventually, you drive long enough, you get bored. One of the things we have prolifically here in the States, I don't know if they have these in other countries, are billboards on the side of the road, right?
Sure.
And you can only look at, and unfortunately here in Florida, they advertise things like Machine Gun USA, fun for the whole family, because that's where we are. But I think that the travel board, the people who run the tolls, see, we already pay money, right, to be on these roads. And so they're getting money from us.
But that's paying for, hopefully, the upkeep of the roads.
Right. But also it should be like a prize system. And there should be some sort of like hidden clues, like an escape room, but not an escape room, or like some sort of, what's it called? Scavenger hunt with the billboards, so that I'm engaged with these billboards, not just looking at, oh, in 2 miles there's a McDonald's, but there's some sort of clue. So you have a app on your phone and you put in your starting your starting location and your destination, and then it maps you, and then it gives you a puzzle, and then you have to solve it, and they take the money from the tolls, and then you win some sort of prize if you put it in your app and you're like, I know
That's
this answer.
I like that. That can make it fun. That would also relieve the pressure that we have coming up with car games.
Yeah.
So billboard scavenger hunt.
Yes.
I am going to take that a step further.
Okay.
Media is getting more and more condensed. It's getting shorter and shorter because our attention spans are getting shorter and shorter. In fact, what we're doing right now, like half hour, 45-minute podcast, sometimes 20 minutes, who knows, this is way too long for the modern human being.
Well, they could just
like we are right
pause
now.
it.
We are they can just pause it. We are dinosaurs right now.
Yes.
I love this medium anyway. I love to listen to them. I love creating them. Doesn't matter. However, there is a truth here that our attention spans are getting shorter and shorter. Remember Vine?
I do remember Vine.
So was that like 6 seconds videos?
I don't know how long, but very short.
So that was a little bit too short
Yeah.
because the Vine went away. But TikTok's like 15 seconds, 30 seconds, and there are longer ones, but I've seen really short ones. The next social media, billboard social media,
Okay.
where the content is just playing up there, and it's going to be like little short bursts, perfect for our pathetic human attention spans. And you've got like little short form shows and little short 30-second movies on the billboards. That'll keep your attention.
But see, with my solution, I'm winning prizes. I'm not winning prizes
Yes,
by
but
watching somebody
Are you not familiar with how social media works? You get that dopamine hit
Okay,
from the social
fine.
media. Not going to cost the government anything. The money that they collect from the tolls can go actually towards the roads, which is what it's supposed to do.
Oh, fine.
All right, so we have 8 things.
Okay.
We need to narrow it down to 5.
I'm perfectly happy to get rid of some.
So we have a car that will talk to our child so we don't have to.
God, we sound like such good parents.
Cars that are compartmentalized. So far, we have 2 things that will isolate us from our children. Good one. Inside car wash.
Yep.
Separate lane for big trucks. Combining freight trucks with car carriers. The car cloaca,
Nope.
TM. The billboard scavenger hunt. And social media billboards. Short form video content billboards.
All right. Which one do you propose to get rid of first? Hint, none of mine. Go ahead.
I think that if we combine freight trucks with car carriers, we don't have to have a separate
No,
lane.
okay, that's fine. I will support that.
All right, go ahead.
I am not here for your toilet situation.
The car seat toilet.
Yeah, I'm not here for that.
I didn't say that one, actually. Thank you.
Oh,
Just reminded
well,
me.
because it's part of your cloaca solution.
No,
I
the
think.
cloaca is a separate thing. So we're getting rid of car seat toilets. That's good. I think that the scavenger hunt thing is great, as is the social media billboards, but I think both of them will get people killed.
Yeah, okay, fine. All right.
So we're losing both of them. That's it. That's 5.
All right, good. We've solved it.
We get in our car. At the beginning of our trip, we close off our compartments so that we can basically be alone. Our car will talk to our child so we don't have to do it. We drive our car into the combination freight truck car carrier. We kick back and enjoy ourselves. Every now and again, we'll receive food through our car cloaca. And then when we get to where we're going, we all get our car washed together.
All right, good. I like it. I'm
All right.
fine. Good.
So I consider this unscrewed.
Good luck, Statler Brothers. Not even sure you're still alive.
We have a listener question.
Oh, good. I like
this
these.
one is from Lance.
All right, Lance.
Lance says, "Hi, Josh and Amanda. I've got a delicate problem. I have a coworker that doesn't wear deodorant.
Oh,
What
no.
should I do?"
You should get a new job. No, that's not an option.
Has this
for
ever
you,
happened to
Lance.
you?
No, it hasn't.
Do you have any suggestions for Lance here?
Yes, Lance. So you're familiar with Vicks Vapo Rub. I have discovered when the children were sick, they make these little patches that you can stick to your clothing, like right at the top of your shirt. So you're inhaling that menthol smell without having to rub it on you. Clearly, you need one of these so that you don't smell anything except for the menthol. This is my solution to you. You can't tell the person that they need deodorant.
No, you're going to have to be more subtle than that. You know what would be a brilliant marketing idea?
What?
Vicks, not a sponsor, decided to make those patches, but in the shape of mustaches.
There you go. Yes.
So they wouldn't have to be as strong. The people around you wouldn't smell it, but you'd have your Vicks mustachio rub right under your nose. Boom.
But what if you didn't want facial hair?
Okay, well, I got nothing for you.
Well, then you could just have the little things that just like a little right there on
Nose
your
plug?
nose. Yeah, nose plug.
But short of doing that, short of creating an aroma on your body to mitigate it, some other suggestions. You can't hold your breath every time the person comes
No.
around.
You pass out. Why does Lance always pass out when I come around him?
That's right. How about you have scent diffusers around your desk and you just tell the person, no, it's aromatherapy?
You got to be careful. Some people may not like whatever particular aromatherapy, even though we don't like the body smells. So I don't know what to do for you.
How about this? When we go into our local grocery store in the vegetable section,
Yes.
there are these misters that every now and again you'll hear like a thunder noise.
Yes.
Like, that's their cute little thing and it's about to rain and then it mists onto the vegetables. You're going to have to install that in your office with air freshener.
Or deodorant. Just aerosol deodorant. Not good for the planet, but good for Lance's nose.
Or, well, you could just walk by this person's desk and surreptitiously drop a deodorant bar and be, oh, hey, is that yours? Is that I found this on the ground. This is yours?
Well, I'm going to take that a step further because if they're intentionally not using deodorant, they're not going to start just because it shows up on the floor. So you're going to have to do the thing where you fall into their armpits with deodorant. Like you're walking by them and you just like fall into them with a thing of deodorant. Oh, I'm so sorry.
You're just holding, it's like two T-Rex arms with, and you just do the quick swipe. That's sleight of hand right there. How about you put up a sign in the bathroom that says, all employees must wash your hands and wear deodorant.
I support this as well.
So hopefully, Lance, one of these suggestions helped you. I mean, I got nothing else for you. All right, Amanda, I think we've done unscrewed up as much as we can unscrew up today. What'd you think about all
We've
that?
done unscrewed it. It was good. It was good. I'm looking forward to our next car trip.
If you have a suggestion for us to take on a particular thorny subject and make it the main idea of our episode, or if you just have a simple question like Lance did, go ahead and shoot us an email at unscrewitup@gmail.com, and we will do our best to fix what ails you. We are a part of the Whole Care Network, a wonderful network of resources to help those who help other people. And so go to wholecarenetwork.com and check it out. All right, Amanda, until next week, what do we have to say to the folks?
Go be nice.
No, that's the wrong podcast.
Wrong podcast. What do I say?
We say, whatever you do, don't screw it up.
Okay, got it.
This is the Whole Care Network. Helping you tell your story one podcast at a time. Content presented in the following podcast is for information purposes only. Views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the host and guest and may not represent the views and opinions of the Whole Care Network. Always consult with your physician for any medical advice, and always consult with your attorney for any legal advice. And thank you for listening to the Whole Care Network.